So we
Yeah, if there's ever anything we're talking about, you'd rather not film.
yeah, no problem. Just when you're editing, just make sure, you know, look at how it could be, you know,
Yeah.
used against us. And
Yeah, I hear that.
don't let that happen. Right.
Definitely keep an eye out.
Yeah. Which, the way you edited the other one, very well done. No cop could ever say, oh, you spoke against us. It's very important that police never feel like you are saying something against them. I'm not against them.
Yeah,
I'm against their philosophy, their belief system or lack of belief system, lack of empathy.
The institution, the incentives of the institution. It's the institution.
Right. The thought process leads to their actions, leads to results.
Yeah.
Lack of training, just the structure of how the whole thing works.
Yeah, actually,
top to bottom.
Yeah, I actually just rewatched that video, you know, like recently, but I put it, like, I have this page on CopBlock called 12 Videos. There's a playlist of like maybe 15 videos that hopefully maybe speak to police a little bit more, and so I do it here, so I'll find it. That's definitely was one of my first couple of videos.
I envy you for having that ability. I don't have that ability. My thing is fucked up.
The thing to remember is that they don't have any limitations. They don't have any, you know, they have guns, authority, and fear with no limitation, no accountability. That's a very scary place to be. So you always want to be not on the other side of them. That's for sure.
Well, the ones in my town know that I'm not afraid of them anymore.
I'll just here's Mark.
Yeah.
Like Jeff said earlier.
Yeah.
Fear from the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, they started after I showed them that. It was, hey dog, how you doing? Hey dog, hey. Fuck you.
It still perpetuates the vibe.
Yeah.
Adversary.
Yeah, you want to
say you're a person, I'm a person, I'm not just going to hate you because you're retired.
right. And here's the thing. We need police. We just don't need this kind of policing.
Right.
That's the critical thing. We need police that are going to be there to help us, protect our families, to do what's in our best interest. They're the gatekeepers of society. Police are the fabric that civilization is built upon. You don't have to go handle things yourself. You don't have to be a vigilante. You don't have to resort to street level violence, because you can simply call law enforcement officers who are supposed to come there and enforce the laws applicable to create safety for the community and society itself. Lack of law enforcement means a lack of civilization. However, the current form of law enforcement is not focused on community safety as a focal point. They're focused on the use of the enforcement of law to exert authority selectively upon those they wish to select to enforce laws against. So selective law enforcement is really one of the key components of the problem as well. So if we want to pull people over for license plates and other things, then that's fine. Then everyone gets pulled over and everyone gets a ticket. You can't select who's going to get the ticket and who's not.
Right.
Right now, selective law enforcement skews every single thing they're doing. Who they pull over, who they don't pull over, what kind of vehicles they pull over, what kind of vehicles they do not pull over. And so every part of the enforcement of law is therefore completely inappropriate because the way it's applied is inappropriate. So it wouldn't matter if you have the best law enforcement officer in the world if the tools and the system by which he or she operated were not based in fairness and appropriate application. And that is what we're looking at. You have good people that become police officers and are part of a system of inappropriate treatment, starting with how they were trained. They were often trained in a paramilitary, disrespectful fashion, and then expected to go out and be respectful to citizens, which is impossible. Intellectually, they are not rewarded for creative thinking as a group, when creative thinking is the key to solving all issues for all humanity. So we need police officers to be creative in their thinking. They're being used to generate revenue as opposed to generating safety. And if law enforcement officers were allowed to focus on safety as the purpose of all their ideas and their actions and their results, then society would be a lot safer. It would be free of a lot more violence and crime. And as a result of society not having violence and crime, police officers would be considered heroes to our general population. I once did a presentation in the suburbs about 40 miles from Detroit. All the people were middle class, upper middle class, white people in this presentation. They were business owners and they were wealthy. And one of the president of this Rotary Club, after they started discussing their windfall profits at their businesses and how well they're doing this particular place in Michigan, the president of the Rotary Club introduced me reluctantly after explaining how successful he was as an attorney and how he's been an attorney for 40 years and his law firm has represented many people against law enforcement officers. And he said he wanted everyone to know that the police are not their friends. Now, this is an upper middle class white audience of men and women professionals who starts the conversation by saying the police are not your friend. He thought I was a police officer and he was offended that I was there. He said, I don't know how this guy got here or what he's doing here, but I just want everyone to know, and you know I'm a well-respected lawyer. I am a I'm a litigator, and I go to bat for people all the time against police, and police are not your friend. Now, whatever this gentleman has to say, you can have the floor. I said, thank you, sir. First, I'd like to say that I am not a police officer. And they were like, oh. I thought it was amazing.
It's also part of what they go after too. I mean, they've got the mandate from above to go after drug crime, and I mean, simple possession is not to me drug crime. It's drug crime is what is result of, like the violence that is the result of having to get the drugs because they're illegal.
Yeah, how about that?
They do. I mean, like rape, murder, these offenses, to find the people culpable for those offenses doesn't pay. So we got to go after the dope, because that we can get these people into court, get them paying fines, court costs, this, that, and the other thing, treatment options, this, that, and our buddies who run the treatment center can make out with money because of it and stuff like that. You just, you know what I mean? It's
and I consider
it's
that
not about crime; it's about drugs.
Right. Yeah. And I consider that a perversion of the purpose of police.
For sure.
First and foremost, what we expect of them is that they will help us have a safe quality of life. That is not the case.
They're under no obligation to do so.
Not only not obligated, they don't want to. Their value system is focused on drugs and apprehension of people, even if they have to set them up. So, Bait Car was these TV shows. There's like several different versions of Bait Cars that were on for a while. And basically the premise is you take a really nice car, you leave it on running, put the keys in it, leave the door unlocked, and put it around where poor people live in inner cities to see what will happen.
What the fuck?
Then you arrest these people as car thieves. A car thief is never going to go up to a car that's sitting on. The car thief will know it's a setup, realizing nobody does that. A kid, however, growing up in the inner city, Latino, African American community, Caucasian community, trailer park, I mean, anybody from an economically distressed background, no matter what their race or religion is susceptible to the taking of the car because it's there. And it's a nice car. Notice they didn't leave any car on. They left really nice cars. And it was really a setup, to me, completely inappropriate. But I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, where it's a middle-class, collegiate town. And I guarantee you, if you left that car downtown Ann Arbor, someone would have jumped in it and went what they call, not car thefting, they would call it joyriding. Where I'm from, when the kids take a car, it's called joyriding, youthful exuberance.
Yep.
And it's usually followed by some community service and no felony. In Detroit, you're getting a felony and you get to go home today. So you just don't get to vote. You can't, and you need a whole bunch of jobs you can't get, and well, and you don't get to go to jail because it's just a felony for being in a stolen car. So you don't get any free food, free transportation.
Yeah, the idea of
free health care. You don't get free health care.
Creating scenarios in which people are, giving people opportunities to commit crimes they otherwise wouldn't. In Manchester, New Hampshire, there was a setup by police, and they do all sorts of weird things where they left a purse in a shopping cart and watched it, and somebody found the purse, put it in their trunk, and started driving it to the police station when they got pulled over and arrested for stealing a purse. And, just the idea of doing setups like that.
When you don't understand psychology, you're susceptible to doing totally inappropriate things just due to ignorance. So in Iraq, one of the things that snipers were doing was putting shiny things on the ground and shooting people that go get them, like shiny batteries. That was illegal under Hitler. But our snipers thought of this on their own. That they should put down batteries on the ground, and when someone reaches for a battery, it makes them a terrorist. And you shoot them when they reach for the battery. Because only a terrorist would need a battery in order to make an explosive to kill Americans in Iraq.
Is that the logic behind it?
Yep.
Unfucking crap.
So you put these batteries around on the ground and you shoot the kids and the people that are grabbing them.
It's crazy. It's just like pain.
Yeah, well, why else would you be getting batteries unless you're a terrorist? Because nobody needs batteries, right?
Right.
Who uses batteries except for terrorists? It never occurred to them that someone might use a battery other than a terrorist. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That is weird.
And then they got in trouble for that because they've been doing it for a while. Killing people, killing kids for having the need of batteries. I mean, who would have thought you need batteries during war? Maybe you have a radio,
Right.
a device that takes batteries, like
Yeah,
a remote.
Electrical grid might be out from time to time.
Yeah, right. Remember we bombed the electrical grid?
Nowadays, man.
So, the thing that makes humans so inherently dangerous is that we are psychologically susceptible to suggestion. So we have to be very careful, and I'm against any kind of secrecy. We must be totally, in my view, for society to have sound structure, sound infrastructure, we must have a completely open, transparent system. And that open and transparent system will keep inappropriate, secret societies from forming with secret values that control things and manipulate our systems.
There's some money in this neighborhood, huh?
Yes, this is Palmer Woods. Hello.
Certainly some money here.
Interesting combination of architecture.
Yeah, and the buildings are different too. That's pretty cool, huh?
Hello, how are you, ma'am?
Stickers for my phone.
Okay.
You have.
I may have some here.
Is this a field trip?
It is.
Shadrach, say hello.
Buddy.
I realized that I had the wrong number on it.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Oh, I have it right here. Sure do. And how are things otherwise?
Oh, great.
Very good.
Yeah. One time you talked about you were going to walk dogs.
Yes, we have been. You didn't see us this summer, huh?
Well, we're away in the summer.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I
Yeah.
was going to say, well, heck,
We've
we
been
could,
out.
we could sign you up and you could walk a lot of dogs.
Yeah. You know what? That is good thinking. We have a new threat dog walking service.
Yes, yes. A little pay on the side.
Of
yeah.
course, yes.
He's checking your tires out. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's been
Thank
marked.
you.
All right, have a good day, man.
See you, Shadrach. I wonder if she got that from the Beastie Boys.
So these houses have, is it like an HOA here, and they pay a little bit in, and they then like come together and decide we're
Yep.
going to hire threat management.
Correct. They decided that they were going to hire us because right across the street from this community of houses that are probably on the average 10,000 square feet is a police department. And the police department, even though there's police commanders that live in this community, was unable to stop the robberies, the home invasions, the break-ins. But they responded very quickly. So, you know, you hear these stories about Detroit response times being very slow. They've been very fast for the past few years. But responding to crime that's already taken place is, well, it's just not really necessary as a very fast and rapid, you know, positive thing. Because at the end of responding very quickly, it doesn't change anything. The criminals are already gone. There's no way they can respond to where criminals are successfully having any effect on crime 99.5% of the time. It's impossible. Because the criminals have already committed the crime and have pretty much left the area. There's the police department literally right across the street. And when we first took over here, these houses right here were getting robbed, even though they're right across from the police department. So you can see the
people, or
you can see the house, and you can see the police department, and it's still the criminals still went in their homes.
wow.
We stopped them by how we interacted with criminals before they had a chance to strike the families here, and we stopped them from believing that it was a viable option. The criminals, even though we didn't kill or capture any of them, believed the area was a hardened target and simply moved on. Which is exactly what our objective was, is to get them to move on without incident. So our break-ins have gone down to an extraordinarily low number. We have one event maybe once every 6 months,
That's cool as hell.
if that. Let's see, the last time we had an actual break-in here was probably last year, a year ago. When we first came in, there were daily crimes in which the police were here every day, throughout the day, just in the area, responding to crimes that have already taken place, taking police reports here, police reports down there. At one point, I was actually involved in an investigation with the Special Operations Commander here, going through a crime scene of a break-in, and at the same time, there was a home invasion in the same community, three streets away. And so we changed our way of thinking from response to prevention.
What did you do in that situation? You just come saturate the neighborhood?
We did saturations, and then we also did a lot of interactions. So we verified everyone. Notice how there's no one straggling around here. You notice there's no men, there's no strange vehicles, just kind of meandering around. When we first started, there were 20 to 30 men that would just be around the area walking around. 20 to 30 men just hunting, literally.
Casing.
You look down these streets right now, there's no one except for the people who live here. And there's some people that walk through the area, it's fine.
Yeah,
But there's no criminals.
Is this completely enclosed? Like, I mean, I realize you got the streets going out that way and whatnot.
Now they're completely open.
Are they? On all sides.
Yeah, you can get into this community without going through any gates or through any, gated areas.
So you said there are robberies going on here, so people are breaking into homes while there are people inside, and
And there were people
having
inside
confrontations?
confronting them. Yes. We stopped all of it by the way in which we communicated with them and the data we collected. So when we drove up to people, we would start recording them and talking to them on record, record their vehicles, license plates. If they said they were a worker here, we verified the workers. And as a result, the criminals couldn't blend in.
So did you take what y'all learned here and then proactively approach other HOAs, or did you?
Actually, they came to us.
Yeah, they heard about what was going on.
Everything okay? Have a good day. Oh, now there's a stop sign up.
No, she put it up while you were passing.
Yeah.
You know, I keep on thinking, and it goes to show the